This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter. I'm welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, February the 3rd, 2002, the Super Bowl was played for the first time in February, but there was a damn good reason why. It was because of the 9/11 attacks. Of course, Super Bowl 36 took part in the 2001 NFL season that was interrupted by September 11th. 2 weeks had passed in the NFL season, and then all of a sudden, 9/11 hit. The world was looking for patriotism and all that. Super Bowl 36 happened. Now, everyone knows New England beat the St. Louis Rams 20-17, but there was a lot of context to it. This was New England's first Super Bowl ever. They would win 5-4 after this. But this actually snapped the AFC East streak of not being winning the Super Bowl. The last time that the AFC East had a Super Bowl champion was 1974 with the Dolphins. I did not know that. That's amazing. The AFC East lost their last 8 Super Bowls. And then the Patriots finally broke that streak. So that was not even 30 years. Close. This was the last Super Bowl to have the Rams in St. Louis. They would play in the Super Bowl in 2019, Super Bowl 53, but after we were looking in LA, but they lost to the Patriots. Of course, the terrorist attacks of 9/11. Not going to get too much into it because obviously this is a sports video, not a 9/11 conspiracy thing. Anyway, the NFL had to postpone and move the playoff schedule back. Super Bowl 36 was supposed to be January 27th, and then it was moved to February 3rd, a week ahead, so that it would be the first Super Bowl in February. U2 did a great pregame and halftime show, especially Bono's performance with the names of all those who were lost in the 9/11 attacks on a screen behind him. It was amazing how that. There was a lot of heightened security measures, understandably, there. Anyway, this was the last Super Bowl in New Orleans till 2013. Anyway, the Rams and Patriots were battling each other. The 2001 Rams were coming off a great time. The 99-2000 season saw them win the Super Bowl, with Kurt Warner coming out of freaking nowhere to become the quarterback he was and part of the greatest show on turf. The offense was good and all that. In the 2000-01 season, they led the league in passing, scoring, total yards. However, they had the worst defenses, being last in points allowed. And also with the fact that Dick Vermeil, who resigned 2 days after Super Bowl 34, turned to Mike Martz as offensive coordinator. The Rams slipped to 10-6 for the 2000-01 season. And then they lost in the wildcard game to New Orleans. In New Orleans, on a late fumble by the Saints punt returner. I think it was Hakeem who fumbled the ball. And that would be the first time the Saints won a playoff game in their history. They even did a voodoo ritual before the game. Anyway, the Rams would do much better. They signed better defensive players. They got a new defense coordinator, Lovie Smith. The Rams were 14-2, the best team in the NFL. They led in scoring as usual. The greatest show on turf did their jobs. Because of Marshall Faulk at running back, Indianapolis, man, the Colts traded Faulk just to get Edgerrin James. It turned out to be a good move. Faulk would do well in St. Louis. And, Marshall Faulk was a good running back. His wide receivers, Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce and Az Hakim, did well. Ricky Prohl also was a star and all that, even though that, he scored the winning touchdown in one of the weirdest NFC title games ever. That was the 99-2001 when the Rams took on the Bucks. So anyway, Marshall Faulk was good. He was a double threat, kind of like Roger Craig. He could run for the ball and he could catch passes. The offensive line was good. The defense was actually third in the league in fewest yards allowed. Leonard Little was a good defensive end, although some people don't think he should be around because Leonard Little got himself into a crash that killed a lady. And somehow he continued his career. Dumb. Anyway, defensive end Grant Wistrom was good. And then they had a good defensive backfield. London Fletcher, Trey Bly, Arenas Williams, and Dexter McCleon. So anyway, the Rams actually beat the Patriots as well in Foxborough, in New England, in a game that was televised on Sunday Night Football on ESPN. The Rams won 24-17. However, they lost 4 of their defensive players with injuries. Anyway, the New England Patriots were not really that good at all that. Their chances to make the Super Bowl was bleak. Quarterbacks coach Dick Renman died of a heart attack at age 45. The Patriots were 0-2. And in the second game, they got crushed by the Jets. And Drew Bledsoe suffered a sheer blood vessel on a hit by Mo Lewis outside, near out of bounds. That cost him to miss a lot of time. So Tom Brady, who was in his second year with the Patriots and drafted in the 6th round of the 2000 draft, had to come in. And Terry Glenn had problems too, for off-the-field problems. He was actually suspended for failing a drug test. He basically was deactivated for good. But Brady, for some reason, just like Kurt Warner when he became starting quarterback for the Rams, he actually put up an unbelievable campaign. And in his first start, he crushed the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning 44-13. Patriots won 11 games to be the 2 seed in the AFC. Brady would have 2,843 yards, 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Troy Brown was the main receiving threat, catching over 100 passes and 5 touchdowns. David Patton was effective too. Antoine Smith was a decent running back for the team, and the defense looked good. Richard Seymour, as a rookie, did well. Mike Vrabel, William McGinnis, and Teddy Bruschi, good linebacker core. And the defensive secondary was Otis Smith, Ty Law, and Lawyer Malloy. The Patriots, when they lost to the Rams, fell to 5-5, but they did not lose a game the rest of the way, including the Super Bowl. And the funny thing is that the Patriots would be playing at the Superdome in their 3rd Super Bowl appearance. And all that. Joining the Dallas Cowboys as the only team to play 3 different Super Bowls in one stadium. The Cowboys played 3 of them at the old Orange Bowl in Miami in the 70s. Super Bowl 20 at the Superdome, which I talked about a few weeks before. The Patriots got crushed 46-10. And then they came back to the Super Bowl for Super Bowl 31 in 97 against the Packers, which was known for Desmond Howard's touchdown return and iced it. So anyway, the 2002 playoffs happened. The Rams were the NFC divisional round. Well, they got the bye because it was the 1 seed. They crushed the Green Bay Packers 45-17. It was supposed to be Warner versus Favre, but it was one-sided. Completely one-sided. It didn't help that Favre threw 6 interceptions, and 3 of them were pick sixes, or return for touchdowns, if you will. The Rams would go take down the Philadelphia Eagles with Donovan McNabb by a score of 29-24. In the AFC divisional round by contacts, I talked about the Tuck Rule game, and that's happened. Then the Patriots went to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, who looked good. And for some reason, the Patriots did well. Well, Brady got hurt, and Bledsoe came back on the field. Pittsburgh actually cut the deficit down to 21-17. But thankfully, though, the Patriots survived. So anyway, it was huge and all that. So anyway, there was actually a problem because there were rumors that said that New Orleans might have a problem because of having to reschedule due to the fact that there was 9/11 pushed it back a week. There were rumors that they were going to condense the 3 playoff rounds into 2 weeks instead of 3 and move the game to Pasadena, but they made every effort. And with the Super Bowl being set back a week, the first week of Mardi Gras was 1 week earlier. And there was also a logistical challenge because the National Automobile Dealers Association had a convention at the Superdome that day. But the parties came to an accord that the Dealers Association actually moved the convention the week prior in exchange for financial considerations. And it worked. It all worked out. So anyway, yeah. So this was huge and all that. New Orleans actually said that they were going to install natural grass for the Superdome because they remembered that the Silver Dome, when they hosted games at the '94 World Cup, they actually could convert from their artificial turf into grass and all that. The plan called for large trays of grass to be grown and cultivated outdoors and brought inside the dome and placed in the field for the game. But cost and quality concerns cost them dearly. The Rams were 14-point favorites and all that. They said Kurt Warner had his best year of his career and the fact that the Patriots got lucky because of the tech rule. And there were rumors that Bledsoe was going to actually play and all of that. So anyway, the Patriots wore their nautical blue home jerseys, and the Rams had to wear their road whites. Brady was named starter for the Super Bowl, which was weird. In fact, the funny thing is that with this Super Bowl, the Patriots and Rams, it meant that Boston and St. Louis, would play each other in an NFL title game. The funny thing was that with Boston and St. Louis is that it completed the cycle of all four major sports leagues having a Boston-St. Louis final. As I talked about yesterday in my Scotty Bowman video, I talked about St. Louis having to face Boston in the Stanley Cup, which they did in 1970, and the Bruins swept them easily. Of course, that was Bobby Orr's overtime goal. The Celtics and Hawks actually met each other in the NBA Finals 4 times, with the Celtics getting 3 of them, when the Hawks were in St. Louis. And the Cardinals and Red Sox met in the World Series in 46 and 67, although it would be 2004 when they host the next one. Anyway, so this would be big because this would be Summerall and Madden's final play-by-play together, because Summerall was intending on retiring and all that. He would retire. He would come back for some games, but Summerall basically was retired. And Madden would move to ABC. So Fox was just like unbelievable. So Madden moved to ABC right after Super Bowl 36. So yeah, that was huge. All that. Of course, there were a few big commercials and all that. Let's not forget about Budweiser's Clydesdale advertisement that had the horses bow down for 9/11. The national anthem was performed by Mariah Carey. And the Patriots decided to enter into the Superdome as a team instead of the offensive and defensive starters and all that. It was amazing and all that. Spirit of unity and all that. Since 2003, both Super Bowl participants have been introduced collectively as a team, not by offense or defense of starters. Anyway, halftime happened. U2 did their stuff where the streets had their own name, and the names of the victims of 9/11 were projected on a sheet behind the stage. All that. Bono opened his jacket to reveal an American flag printed into the lining. And this was huge. It was the best halftime show in Super Bowl history. Janet Jackson was supposed to perform, but due to traveling concerns, the NFL opted for other acts and thought U2 would do it. She would perform 2 years later at the next at Super Bowl 38, but of course we all know about Nipplegate. So anyway, the Rams started scoring with a field goal by Jeff Wilkins from 50 yards out, which is hard to do, even in a dome stadium. But the Pats would strike with 17 consecutive points. Ty Law put a pick 6 on the board in the second quarter, and David Patton got a touchdown pass from Tom Brady. Adam Vinatieri with the extra point. After a 37-yard field goal by Vinatieri, it was 17-3. Patriots head to the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, Kurt Warner had it finished off a 12-play, 77-yard drive with a 2-yard touchdown run. Jeff Wilkins made it 17-10 with an extra point. And then Ricky Prohl got the touchdown pass from Kurt Warner with a minute and a half left to make it 17-17. And then, let's not forget about John Madden's famous moment from Super Bowl 36 when he said that the Patriots should basically just run it up the middle and play for overtime. But some of said, now, wait a minute, Tom Brady and the Patriots can do it. It would be one of the best making a commentator eat his words moments ever. As Brady had a 9-play, 53-yard drive that got them down to 31, setting up a 48-yard field goal by Adam Vinatieri for the win, which he kicked through the uprights easily with no time left. And let us not forget that at the butt end of that, where the kick went through, if you see a New England player head to the end zone and do kind of a snow angel, that was Lonnie Paxton. He did that famous celebration after the Patriots won the Tuck Rule game. Of course, that was played in heavy snow, though, too. So Paxton did his snow angel act. Oh, that. Kurt Warner did okay. 365 yards and a touchdown, but 2 interceptions, including a pick 6, was his downfall. He ended up, that was actually the second highest total up to that point in Super Bowl history with passing yards, behind his own 414-yard mark in Super Bowl 34. The Patriots converted no turnovers, and the Patriots had 3 of them. But Warner's 414 and 365 would be surpassed by Tom Brady after his 462 yards in Super Bowl 51 in 2017, and then 2 years later with 505 yards in Super Bowl 52. This was Massachusetts' first professional championship since the 86 Celtics won the NBA title, 16 years. That's amazing. The Rams had a fourth quarter comeback of 14 points to be the largest in Super Bowl history for a team to tie or take the lead in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, it was surpassed by the Patriots with that 28-3 game, which should be in the list one of these days. I'll find out. So anyway, the Patriots were the second team to wear 3 different colored jerseys in the Super Bowl. They wore red in Super Bowl 20. Their road whites in Super Bowl 31. And then blue. Their blue, of course. Denver would do that too, as they were orange in many of their early Super Bowls, blue in Super Bowl 32, and white in Super Bowl 21, 33, and 50. And the Patriots became the second biggest Super Bowl underdog to win, behind the Jets in Super Bowl 3. So this was like Super Bowl 3, and that started a dynasty and all that. Anyway, so it heralded the Patriots dynasty, getting the first of 9 Super Bowl appearances being under the duo of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. The Patriots would miss out on the final day of the 2003 season to make the playoffs. That was the last time they missed the playoffs till the famous 2008 season when Brady went down with injury and missed on a tie break to get in, even though they were 11-5. But the Patriots would win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years and would win their 4th, 5th, and 6th Super Bowls to tie Pittsburgh for the most Super Bowls by a team. Brady would win 4 more Super Bowl MVP awards, making it to 5, which is amazing. Unfortunately, Super Bowl 36 was also tainted because of Spygate and all that. And yeah, the Patriots did do that, I will admit. So anyway, but no tape was actually made. But the Patriots still got fined heavily and all that. So anyway, Spygate helped the Patriots out in a sense. Anyway, it was amazing. Boston became the first city in history to win a title in the 4 major sports. The Red Sox won many titles before up to 1918, before 2004 when they broke that curse with the Bambino. The Celtics were kings in the 60s, winning many titles, and the Bruins won some Stanley Cups. So it was amazing and all of that. It was amazing and all that. But the Rams, well, they fell a little bit off the cliff and all that. After Super Bowl 36, including Super Bowl 36, 10 different NFC teams appeared in the Super Bowl over the next 10 years. So that was huge. The Rams would have a Super Bowl hangover and all that, and fell to 7-9. Although Warner and Falk were both hurt in most of the postseason, they would only qualify 2 more times for the playoffs while in St. Louis before they moved back to Los Angeles for 2016, 2003, and 2004, which was kind of pathetic. Mike Martz was fired after 2005. Kurt Warner would be demoted to backup quarterback for 2003, and then he signed with the Giants, becoming the starting quarterback before Eli Manning came in and usurped him. So Warner went to Arizona, got them to the Super Bowl in 2009, but they lost to Pittsburgh. However, the Patriots and Rams rematched in Super Bowl 53 in 2019, but the score wasn't even close. It was 14-3, one of the most pathetic Super Bowls by score ever. And that's saying a lot coming from a Patriot fan. I know, yes, this actually kickstarted my love of the Patriots and all that. I was a Rams fan for a while, and then I turned to the Patriots saying, if you can't beat them, join them. So I joined the Patriots as a fan. And 20 years later, I'm still a Patriots fan. I haven't jumped boat, even though the Patriots suck now. Well, they did make the playoffs, but Buffalo blew them out this year. Fuck. Anyway, this is a great time to be a Patriots fan. You can't take the 6 Super Bowls away from the Patriots. You just can't. Anyway, I'm Chef Diamond. I do.